Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today, we're going to talk about the science officer above the USS Voyager. That's right, Tuvok. Just kidding. Rafika the Mini, look at this art from the vault here. Look at this guy's face and tell me he does not look like Tuvok. I mean, seriously? Every time I cast him, it's like Tuvok of the Mini. Anyway, I'm a Trekkie. I don't apologize for it. It's what I do. Anyway, Rafika the Mini is a one-man army style deck. He's a lot like Earl minus the hexproof, and he screams at we're going to win with general damage. That being said, that's why I chose this particular Ajani. The ability to just mound up counters on him, and then if somebody lets you go off with this Ajani, if they let this happen, it's crazy. And while it may seem like a win more, this is EDH. That's what it's all about. Anyway, I want to roll through the non-pump stuff first. We have obviously Brave the Elements to protect him from the nasty stuff. I feel like you got to have a naturalize. Yes, the split second version is way better. However, we all have millions of naturalizes and not many split second versions. Got to condemn and face reward simply because we're running a lot of equipment, a lot of enchantments, and people can, even if you've got several enchantments mounted up on Rafiq, they can, shoot him or whatever, and all that stuff dies, and you just to get it all back. So, obviously, Farseek to smooth out the mana. Speaking of mana, I'm not running a whole lot of mana rocks, but I am running a couple. There are better versions, but the border post theme, I really kind of like that one. Then we have, because we are, really relying on Rafiq to do the work for us, we have some ways to clear his path, if you will. So, by the way, Divine Reckoning is probably, I was surprised that Rafiq wasn't in the art of this card. It was made for him. Yeah, I know it's a different world, but it was made for him. Now let's get to the other creatures. Now, obviously, the Murkfiend Liege, it is easy to cast, and the fact that you get that prophet ability, or seedborn ability, whatever you want to call it, it's pretty tough. Now, obviously, we have to run the Umbra Mystic just because of that Totem Armor thing. Totem Armor, wow. It's really something special. Instant speed equip really, really is good, especially when you can, surprise block with Death Touch, yay. But Pure Steel Paladin, we have to do this just simply because, playing equipment, draw a card, have a lot of equipment, it's free. Hey, that's almost like, Sigarda's Aid. Wow. This card is suited up right for Rafiq. Here again, this guy, the Dauntless Escort, is just a sacrificial lamb just to help out the cause. The cause being his main man, Rafiq. Not a new Alara. Rafiq is 3 colors, so this is a 4 mana 2/2 that gives him a permanent giant growth. It doesn't take that many hits. Let's see. With these two in play, Rafiq is a 6/6. When he attacks, he is a 7/7. He will do 7, and then he will do another 7. So that's 14 general in one attack with 2 cards. Not to mention if you've got any other bump on him. Now, Sovereign's a new Alara. This This is it is a little high on the curve at 6, but let's face it, that's not really an issue for us. I mean, the ability to tutor it to play. Tutor it to play. Now, just FYI, I do not have an Eldrazi conscription. I need an Eldrazi conscription. It is on the to-do list, if you will. But that's what goes perfect with Sovereigns of Lost Alara and Rafiq, because you cast Rafiq at some point, and then when he is ready to attack that turn, you're going to cast Sovereigns of Alara. You're going to declare your attack step with Rafiq, get the conscription, put it on him, and probably just put somebody out of the game. Anyway, we have Shram. Shram is cool. I mean, there's just so many versions of this card. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes. Of course, we got to have Favor of the Overbeing, because who doesn't like Vigilant Flyers? Here again, 5/5 double striking flyer. The Mirari's Wake is just to, I mean, we're playing white and green. There's no reason not to run this. I love it. I love it a lot. Speaking of good white-green cards, permanent giant growth to all your dudes. The Ethereal Armor is pretty neat. We have Armadillo Cloak, Unflinching Courage, Shield of the Oversoul. Unflinching Courage, Shield of the Oversoul. Those two are redonkulous together, just in case you did not know. And I know y'all are waiting on the Rancor. Rancor has been ruling games since it came out in Urza Block. Rancor is probably one of the greatest single green mana enchantments ever. I don't know. As I remember, I think this was an error. I was listening to the Morrow podcast, and I think that they just casted it at 1 green, knowing that development would change it, and development didn't. Of course, Steal the Godhead. You know, the unblockable thing here, this is almost a little over the top, because when you make Rafiq unblockable, there's a good portion of it where you're just playing solitaire. And we have Finest Hour. I'll read Finest Hour to you. I do apologize here again. It's one of those sets I bought a random foreign box of. Finest Hour is an enchantment. It does have it exalted. So you're going to get another exalted trigger for Rafiq. And whenever a creature you control attacks alone, if it's the first combat of a turn, untap it, you get another combat. So, here again with just these 2 cards. He's a 3/3. Declare him as an attacker. Trigger, trigger, trigger. He gets 2+1 triggers and... No, I'm sorry, 4 triggers. 2+1 triggers, a double strike trigger, and another attack step trigger. So he becomes a 5/5. He deals 5, and then another 5 for the double strike. So that's 10 total general damage. And then you untap him. You get another combat step. You declare him as an attacker. Both Exalteds trigger again, taking him up to 6/7. So he does 7 and then 7 again. We're looking at 20. You kill somebody with these 2 cards. And I love how they fit together perfectly. I love how you can play Rafiq, and then the very next turn you can play Finest Hour. This is rainbows and sunshine. But here again, we're also talking about Magical Christmas Land. But if your opponent lets this shit happen, I mean, you know, they can't really say much. Anyway, let's go to equipment, because we haven't done that yet. First and foremost, we will do the only sword of something that I have in the deck. Now, the pro green does kind of hinder a little bit, but the reason why it's in here is because it's my only sword of something that I had to allocate to him. But obviously the Warhammer, because, trample's cool, and if he's got death touch and trample, it's really cool. Got to have the Jit or Jite or the Ninja Turtle weapon, whatever the heck people I don't know. But anyway, it may be one of the most broken equipment ever. I love it. Bone Splitter, the common that was just too good to be. There again, this is proof that just in case, I know we got a new set coming out. It's Amonkhet, and I know this is a weird time to talk about Amonkhet, but Bone Splitter is a reminder of a certain idea from Wizards. Bone Splitter and Smuggler's Copter, anytime they try something new, they, number one, want to push it so that, people will like it and enjoy it and play with it. But when they push things too far, an equipment that costs one to equip and gives a permanent +2, this, at common, this wrecked drafts. I mean, you just picked Bone Splitters and any dudes, it did not matter. Bone Splitter is amazing. Smug Copter is amazing. Every time they do something new for the first time, so I guess what I'm saying is, whatever they're, and when what is that also was in Mirrodin? Affinity was something new. Of course, cost reduction always gets them in trouble. But anyway, Amonkhet's coming out, and I'm sure they're trying something new. We've already seen the cycling lands, we've seen the inventions, but they're going to try something new, and they're going to push a few cards. Be on the lookout for whatever those are, because those cards will be A, really good, and B, probably expensive. Bone Splitter's not expensive, but it is really good. Anyway, Torch Gauntlet. It's Bone Splitter is so good you can double all the cost and people will still play with it. Because they double the cost and double the equip and people will still play with it. That's how good Bone Splitter is. Adventuring Gear, because, you're going to play lands. Imperial Plate. Oh, yeah, this is really good, because anything where you can, mound up the pluses on him and just make him bigger. Of course, Vigilance, Trample, Haste. Here again, love that Trample. Love that Vigilance, too. Piston Sledge. I really, really like the Piston Sledge. Just because it auto-equips. I mean, +3, +1. Yeah, the equip to sack an artifact, you're probably, you're probably only going to cast this after you have Rafiq in play. So you have to take that equip cost into mind when you agree to pay the 3 mana to cast it. So to cast and equip for 3 the first time, that's pretty sweet. Not to mention makes him a 6/4, 7/5 when he attacks. Argentium Armor. Have I covered the win more aspect yet? Because attack, trigger, vindicate. Come on. And the +6/+6. Yeah, it does have a 6 and 6 cost to, prohibit it, but Mask of Avacyn, because, hey, teacher, leave those kids alone. Don't mess with Tuvok. Come here! Grappling Hook. Ever since Grappling Hook got printed in Zendikar, I read it and I went, oh, that's exactly what it is. This is Scorpion's Hook. Come here! Trailblazer's Boots, because, non-basic land walk, damn near every EDH deck has it. I can't say how good this is enough, and it's an equipment deck, and it's Here again, making Rafiq unblockable borders on not being fair. Darksteel Axe, of course, the indestructible version. Skull Clamp, sometimes things are going to die. I like the Skull Clamp. I really, really do. It's very, very good because Forbidden Orchard is a thing, and a lot of people are passing out tokens, and the join forces crap. I mean, really. And if nothing else, I mean, you throw it on Rafiq, and it's another card draw from Shram, and it's another, +1. So good. Behemoth Sledge. Yes, I had to legit read the name off the card because I think this was a flavor fail. They could have made this an armadillo sledge because this is, it is super obvious this is an equipment version of armadillo cloak. And they could have, the art would have been amazing. Think about it, armadillo sledge. You could have like scales. It would have been great. But anyway, it's a third copy of Unflinching Courage or Armadillo Cloak or whatever you want to call it. Tuvok Battle Horns, here we go. Trample and some kind of evasion, so it's pretty good. Darksteel Plate keeps him living through your board wipes and everybody else's. The Sword of Vengeance, Achroma abilities seem good. Now, here again, the Basilisk Collar with the Death Touch. We're trying to create that whole magical Death Touch trample experience because a lot of people are unsure how that works. Just FYI, how Death Touch and Trample work, and they don't print it on cards together, or at least they have not so far. And I gotta feel like if they ever do, it's going to be on some crazy mythic and it'll have some kind of crazy drawback. But the way Death Touch and Trample currently work under the rule set is with Trample, you have to assign lethal damage to the creature before assigning any overflow damage to the player. Death Touch says all damage is lethal. So if I have just Basilisk Collar on Rafiq here, and I swing with him, the Exalted triggers, it's a 4/4, you block with your 10/10, I can assign 1 point of damage to your 10/10, that's lethal, and have the rest of it trample over to you. It's not very intuitive. That's the reason why they haven't printed it, and it is one of those things that the way the rules interaction works, when you explain it to your opponent, they're like, hold on, what? And they act like you're trying to cheat them, but this is legit the way the rule works. Death Touch and Trample, just the stuff. Anyway, Lightning Greaves, because we want to protect him. Now, be careful now with the Lightning Greaves and the Shroud. Yes, I probably not even be running this. There are other versions, other stuff, but I really like the Boots of Blinding Speed here. Elder Scrolls reference there. Sword of the Cauldron. The double strike with the Cauldron trigger is really kind of neat. Because if they double block, you can just exile 2 things, although there's a good chance they won't, because this is not exactly hidden information. It's on the board. If they double block, it is very important that you put your thumbs in your ears and go na-na-na-boo-boo. Anyway, last card today is going to be Conqueror's Flail. So it's going to give you +3/+3 for just Rafiq itself. And as long as he's carrying around this flail, they can't fog. They can't do all the crazy blue instants. They're going to wait till you attack before they Cyclonic Rift. No, you're not. You're not going to route. You're not going to, all the things. This is Rafiq does look a little noble to be carrying around a Conqueror's flail, but I promise you, he wields it well. Anyway, that is what I have got for today. I do appreciate you watching. Sorry it went a little long. 20 minutes. I do appreciate you. To be sure to like, subscribe, do all the social things, But as always, now it's time to go because it is time to shuffle and cut.